All right, we're good to go. We're good to go. CommonwealthSportsBetting.com coming to you live high noon Saturday, April 8th. Exciting sports day today. We got a full slate of Major League Baseball coming at you. And, of course, Masters Saturday, moving day, as they call it in the game. So a lot of things going on. I know we're going to talk baseball on today's show just for a minute. But if you haven't watched those trees fall at Augusta, that's like one of the biggest miracles I think I've ever witnessed, because I don't know how. I mean, there wasn't multiple fatalities. Absolutely ridiculous. So if you haven't watched that, I would encourage you to YouTube that or do whatever you got to do to search to see that. There was, from everything I heard, zero injuries. Obviously, nobody died, and some chairs had to be obliterated when those trees landed, but just, you could see it on the faces of everybody. Everybody there was sure this was a major disaster with multiple severe injuries or fatalities, and everybody walked away and nobody was hurt. And that's probably the Masters miracle of the week, to be honest. Brooks Koepka and John Rahm looked to be running off in a little duel in the sun, an ode to old Jack and Tom back, I think it was at Turnberry maybe, in the British Open, or the Open Championship, as the elders say. So exciting day at the Masters. They just did finish round two. The cut, I believe, went to +3. And I think Tiger Woods is in. I'm not sure how he's going to feel about that. I know his legs are, probably pretty weary. And now they're looking at bad weather, or the potential for bad weather, all day today. So that's a long, hard walk. Augusta is a hard walk. And to do it on soft ground is definitely not easy. And to do it on soft ground with a shattered leg that was repaired and multiple knee operations, it's going to be a tough round for him. Obviously not in contention, but he'll extend. I believe this is his 23rd consecutive cut made at the Masters. He's never missed a cut at Augusta as a professional, and he'll continue. And that gives him the longest cut made streak, passing Freddie Couples, and I think longer. So you can look that one up. But 23 straight cuts made for Tiger. He's on to the official weekend, and they're going to deal with weather today. It looks like tomorrow the weather should be good. So if they can get it in today, no lightning, no hazardous conditions, everything should hopefully finish on Sunday, which is really what everybody wants, right? Nobody wants to have to watch it from their laptop at work. It's the Masters. You want to be able to watch that on a Sunday, enjoying yourself. So on to baseball. So yesterday gave out under 11.5 or under 11 in a Washington-Colorado game. I watched the first two batters and didn't watch another second of that game. First two batters, I think, homered. There was 4 homers in the first 2 innings. I think the final was 10-5. So, flew over there. But we won the night before on that. So we're not, we didn't really get beat up. Our clients had a good day yesterday. If you look on our Twitter account at CW Sports Betting, we posted our bet stamp. We do show everything on bet stamp. We always have everything recorded via bet stamp. That is a really good actual betting tool. For those of you that don't use it, I encourage you to download that bet stamp app. It's a great way of tracking plays, and it's a lot more efficient than paying a company somewhere, actually paying someone money to say that's what you bet. I'd never understood that. There's a company that's made a ton of money through the years, I guess, doing this. Oklahoma City Sports Monitor. I'm not going to pay somebody money when everything we do is dated and stamped. I have tickets of my own on it that are obviously active tickets that anybody can see. I have bet stamp recording it. If somebody wants more transparency than that, I don't really know what to do. So anyways, talking a little baseball pitching today. We're going to make this pretty quick. We touched on it a bit a few shows back, but so the evolution of baseball handicapping kind of is how I look at it. So pitching is always what sets the number, still to this day, which is strange considering how much it's changed. Pitching sets the number. So if you're going to handicap baseball, you have to understand the nuances of starting pitching, pitching rotations, pitching use, arm use, rest, all that good stuff. Now, so we'll just date the timeline. I know I'm going way back, but 70s, 80s, into the early 90s, starters were going 7 almost regularly. So at that time, you had like your closers, your Kent Tekulves, if you will, would come in with more than 3 outs needed. They'd come in the 8th, sometimes even in the 7th. They would come in, but and then that would pretty much be they would take the game home from there, win, lose, or draw. But so that really involved like 2 pitchers. So if you like this, if you like the starter in a matchup, you're figuring he's going to probably go 7. And if you had a fresh reliever, your closer, then that was your matchup. Like you could pretty much say, if you were going to back Jim Bibby on the Pirates or Burt Blyleven, and Tekulve was rested, and you liked the pitcher in that spot, you pretty much knew you were going to get about 7 full out of him, if not more, and then your closer would come in and get the last 3 to 5 outs. So that was back in the day, right? So then we'll go a little more modern. We'll go about 20 years ahead. And it was, I don't know the exact year, but there was an Anaheim LA Angels team that was, they had a 7, 8, and 9, a 7th inning guy, an 8th inning guy, and a 9th inning guy. If their starters got through 6 with the lead, the game was over. I mean, it was ridiculous. They just went right down that 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. And of course, if they won games handily, that's when these guys got their rest. But so that was more of a, I wouldn't say bullpen by committee, but you had 2 setup men and then a closer. And that's how you would get it done. So that was sort of it. And that was like that. I don't know what their percentage was when those 3 pitched consecutively. But if memory serves me right, it would seem like they pretty much always won when they hit the 7th inning with the lead back then. So now fast forward to today, it gets a little bit different, right? I mean, I'm looking at pitching staffs. I can just pull up any one right now, not on my data sheets, but Cleveland's going pretty good. White Sox starters 5, 5, 4, 4.2, 4.1 innings pitched. Detroit 4.1, 3, 4.2. So the average is trending much more closer to 5 innings pitched for the starters. Of course, that's what qualifies you for a win. So every starter that enters a game obviously wants to go at least 5 full to get the decision in the game. And again, there is no stud ace high school pitcher that's looking at being a top draft pick, or a stud ace college pitcher that's looking at being a draft pick right now, a top draft pick, who says, I want to be the guy that comes in the 6th inning or 5th inning, or when we're down 8-3 or we're up 8-3. Everybody wants to be the starter, right? Guys sort of morph into closers when they maybe don't have the full pitch array to be a starter, but they have 2 electric pitches. That's really, as a closer, if you have 2 electric pitches, generally you can get by, right? But you can't get through a lineup multiple times. So today's game now, you've got, huge bullpens. The bullpen roster is heavily expanded compared to what it would have looked like pitching staff wise back in the day, so to speak. So that's where your first 5 bets can be efficient for you. If you are a handicapper that likes to look at starters, you want to lean a little bit more into those first 5s. But the other way, and kind of the way I do it, is I grade the pitching staff, as a whole, right? It is a team game. So, you might have the best starter in the game. If he goes 6 full and he leaves the game up 2-1 or 3-1, and your bullpen is been overused of late and their arms are a little weary, he'll take an L in what should have been a great, a game that he pitched great in and should have got a W. So I tend to look at it as a more on the whole approach. And that way I'm basically looking at, when you look at a team, a pitching staff, and you see a bunch, innings, consecutive days next to their name, well, that guy's probably not available. If you're looking at those games and he's been lights out, he's gone an inning a third, an inning and 2/3, and he's given up like 1 hit, no runs. Him not being available to pitch is pretty big, right? Because that's kind of your link between your starter coming out and trying to get to your 8th, 9th inning guys. So I look at overall usage. How much are your top arms? Like if you're a manager and you're like, this is how I want this game to play out. I'd like my starter to go 5+, maybe 6, and then I want these guys in order. Because the other team's lineup. Right versus left. BVP. All that stuff. So the game plan's already in the manager's head of how he wants to run it through. When those guys get used on consecutive days, now he's got to go to guys that, again, if they're not their primary guys, that they are what they are, right? So I look at it as a whole, and that way I can go full game, I can go first 5, I can go total runs, because again, if a lot of your arms are weary, they may leave a guy in. You saw that with the White Sox game yesterday with Giolito. I mean, I think they would have pulled Giolito a lot earlier, but Pirates were off the day before. White Sox had played in Boston, I believe, or had played Boston. I don't know where the game was, but so they were just trying to basically keep him out there as long as they could, because they didn't want to start a brand new series when their bullpen's already tired and eat up 4 or 5 arms in game 1. And it clearly looked to be a shootout, and it clearly was 13-9 game. So, that's where if you're looking at just starters, you probably want to restrict your bets to first five. If you're like me and you look at entire staffs, then you can expand your portfolio to get first five, full game, or game total. So I hope that helped. Again, if you've been betting baseball for a long time, you obviously didn't need to hear that. But I know there's people out there, again, that are just starting and they're getting into baseball betting. It's new and it can be tough. It can be real tough if you're laying 240 and you lose. So be careful out there. Contact us if you need any guidance or assistance. That's what we're here for. www.commonwealthsportsbetting.com @CW Sports Betting on the Bluebird tweeter. Today's comp pick, we're going with another total today. We're going to Kansas City at San Francisco, where everybody's got the flowers in their hair. Kansas City at San Francisco. So just a couple quick points about this game, and I'm going to keep my time under 12 minutes, I think, so I won't have to get fined again. Kansas City, their starters have been decent. They've all gone, five or more so far. How many runs have they given up? Kansas City has given up more than 4 runs only 3 times in this season, and they've given up 2, 2, 4, 3, and 1 in the other games. So, hey, buddy, dog's back. As far as scoring, Kansas City has only scored more than 4 runs once this season. Their scoring output 0, 0, 4, 9, 1, 0, 3, and 3. So, again, they're not giving up a ton of runs. And in the games that they did give up more than 4, that was Minnesota, Toronto, and Toronto. So, obviously, Toronto's got bats. Minnesota, San Francisco is not Toronto bat-wise. The ballpark in San Francisco by the bay there is not Toronto's ballpark. So we've got a pitcher-friendly ballpark. We have starters that have been getting through some innings, 5+ for Kansas City. We have an offense in Kansas City that just doesn't, as of this point, doesn't ever make you want to back an over when they're in the game. I mean, that may change, and I'm sure it will. And they'll probably go on a streak where they score some runs. But right now, small sample size, 8 games thus far. And again, their average runs per game is probably around 3.5, 3.1 or something like that. Very low anyways. So, and their hit output as well. Kansas City has only had double-digit hits once in 8 games. And again, that was against Toronto. So their total offensive numbers for me have been consistently low. They only had really one game where they put up 9 against Toronto. Where they actually had a decent offensive ball game, 9 runs, 10 hits, 3 walks. And Kansas City also likes to strike out a good bit too. They have double-digit strikeouts against Minnesota, against Toronto, and against Toronto again. So it sets up to me. It's definitely a pitcher-friendly park. I thought the number I got was pretty generous. So we are down our complimentary selection for April 8th, 2023. Kansas City at San Francisco under 8.5 -115. Okay. Again, we had a good day overall yesterday. I posted it on our Twitter account, the screenshot from BetStamp. Check that out. What our members got. We've got a handful of plays today. I personally am down on 4 games, and I'm sorry, I'm down on 3, and I know Ethan is down on 3 as well. And I haven't seen hockey yet from him today. So you could get a card with us today with as many as 7 plays. If you're interested in talking to us about our services, we're here for that. 13 minutes and 50 seconds. Looks like the fine's kicking in. The dog's good. The weather's decent today. Cloudy, a little chilly here in the mountains. But let's see if we can get this KC at San Fran under 8.5 -115 home tonight for all of us. And again, exciting card, exciting Saturday. We look forward to dealing some winners today, as we do every day, trying to do hard work, data-driven work with honesty, integrity, and transparency for everyone. Happy Saturday, folks. Back again at noon on Sunday with some more baseball. I'll talk some golf tomorrow as well, baseball and golf, and we will give you another comp selection. Everybody have a great Saturday. See you tomorrow at noon.